I hope you are having a great week. Wow, it was a wild ride in our house. We had water damage, sick kids. I am glad for this week to be over and starting fresh with the new one. But let's go ahead and get into the market. So this is FinViz, if you guys don't already know it. They have an awesome sort of heat map. And you can see Friday was an amazing day. I was taking care of my little one, so missed a bunch of it. But amazing day. Look at that. Everything is pretty much green except for Facebook. Google was down just 0.19%. GE, big red down here, but overall the market's looking pretty green. So what does that mean for the week ahead? Let me just remind you guys too, as you guys see up above, that we do have Modern Trader Summit coming up, so definitely reserve your seats right here. The seats are starting to really sell out, which is super exciting, so definitely check it out. Price is going to be going up to $149, so lock in your price now. If you guys don't already know, I do have my daily watch list. It's super affordable. $34.99 a month. If you buy 6 months or 3 months or a year, it drops down even more and totally pays for itself in one trade. So definitely check it out. And we'll get into the SPY review as well as the other indices. As always, guys, these are my personal opinions. I used to have my Series 7, but it has not been current since, oh my goodness, 18 years now. So much happier working for myself. So let's go ahead and get into the indices reviews. You can see I have all sorts of trend lines here. And we had this big test right here of 281.33 that had acted as prior resistance. I really want to back this out and pull it to a monthly chart for you to give you a better view. So you can see we are really right here. We keep testing this, right? So it looks kind of like we might have, there was the handle before, but we might be setting up a new handle here to go ahead and potentially test that high. So we shall see if we are able to break this 281.33 strong and then maybe test the bottom of this candle right here, low 286, or even the high right here of 286.63. So that 286 level looked like it might be coming, right? So we've had, but look at these months. We had a massive move up here, about half as much here. We went from a low, let me move it over a little bit so you guys can see the numbers a bit more better. Okay, so we had a low of 243 to a high of 270, so 17 points there. This week, or excuse me, this month we had a low of 267, high of 281, so 14 points. And then this week, 272 to 282, so 10 points. So we're slowly getting smaller moves, and you can see the volume is dropping too. So I'm curious to see, obviously we're still in the middle of the month, so this volume could really spike up, and we are above all the averages on the monthly. On the weekly chart as well, we are above all the averages, holding right here at that resistance line, you know, closed right at it, looking to really go ahead and try to break up if we can with the volume. Last week's volume was bigger than this week's volume. However, we are coming up, so we shall see what happens. When we go to our daily chart, you can see the volume did pick up a little bit more. So this, if this had higher volume on this doji candle right here, I would be leaning more bearish. But it looks like the volume is picking up. Every time we're having an upward trajectory, it's picking up even more. The one sort of doji candle, we have a little bit of a sandwich, which we closed here. We opened at 281.37 and we closed 3 cents below that. So we might be going up, we might be going down. It's really going to see what happens to the market this week. You know, when we pull it back to an hourly chart, it does look like we hit the high here, came down. This is the 50 moving average. Looks like it's been riding that up. So we shall see if we are going to break down further and go down here, down potentially to the 200-day moving average, 278, or continue on up and then go ahead and break up above up here to this area. We shall really see, but it seems like every time that the news comes out that we are going to have a big down move, shorts start piling in and then they get squeezed a bit and it keeps continuing to push up. So we shall see, because they've been saying a massive downturn coming, and now it's, you know, we keep holding above the averages every time we have a big drop down. You know, I mean, it might have a pullback down to the 279 area before we bounce up again, but look, we touched the 4 EMA and we bounced up. So let's look at the Russell. Russell right now is coming down, but it's still holding above the averages on the daily. This is the 20 simple moving average. It tested it and pulled back. So it'd be interesting to see if we can test the 200-day moving average again and run on up. And then the Qs surged big time. And we have an upward, we have a downward trend line right here, which when we pull it back, you can see it a bit better. This was from up here at the top, right? We had touching the tops of those candles right there. You pull it down to the bodies instead of the wicks. You can see we're not far away from testing that downward trend line right here at the 180.79 area, 180.39 on Monday. So we shall see what happens with that. Amazon. I mentioned Amazon might be a short, if it could break down. This is the weekly chart. Let's bring it back to a daily. So I said, hey, look, if we can break down here, we might have a solid short coming. But instead we surged above. We surged above sort of this consolidation transition area right here and surged above. I would be looking more for that test of the 200-day moving average, which has slowly been rising right here, right? But we haven't been able to break above it. So that might be an area where we see NASDAQ and the Qs turn around, but that's going to be an area of interest. In my opinion, I would say bullish up to there, and then after that test to see if we can pull back down further. We are a bit extended from the averages, so a little bit of a pullback might be normal. It might pull down to 1700 and bounce up again. Looking at the long list for the week, we have KEG on the potential long list. This does have 8.08 million in the float, and it was 70% short float volume on Friday. You can see this one has just been sort of running up. Let me pull it to the yearly chart as well so you can see it here. And it's just been curling up, up, up. We might be going up to test that 200-day moving average right there. And let's see, on the 15-minute chart, you can see on Friday, it's just been slowly grinding up, grinding up, grinding up. And it has that low float, so we might be testing that again. All right, guys, so next on our potential long list based on momentum is Curo. So on the 15-minute chart, you can see it had a nice big upward rise, massive volume on Friday, and then it pulled back down, and it looks like it's going to continue on up here, potentially. So I do have a resistance of 1089. Excuse me, a support of 1089, resistance of 1145. It does have 15.6 million in the float and 17.95% short float volume from Friday. You check it out on the yearly chart. It looks like this test right here of that 1145 level was a prior high. After that, it looks like we could be going to 12, up here to test 1275, then a test of 1367 on up to the 1483 area. So that one looks like it could be interesting. NLNK has been around for a while. You can see, last year we had NLNK also deals with some Ebola stuff, which was going on in the Congo right now. So it could be very interesting. Weekly chart, it looks like it found a bottom back here around the $1 range, and it's up almost double from that if we go back to January, right? So it's up 100% pretty much. If we go to our 15-minute chart, you can see it had a nice surge up, broke the prior high right here, ran up, tested 196 just before $2, pulled back down, and now it looks like it could be in the upward motion again. I would look for support of 186, resistance of 196. It does have 26.2 million in the float and 29.53% short float volume. Next on our long list is Higher Car. So Higher Car has been moving up. I had mentioned this before, right? I said, hey, if this breaks out from 570, watch out. Look at that. We're up at 750 now. So look for support to be held of 760, resistance of 797. This one does have 6.49 million in the float, and it is 37.57% short float volume. On the yearly chart, you can see I had it right there because this was the previous high of the year. So this is on the 52-week breakout, right? And if the market continues up, we're going to see a lot more stocks starting to have that breakout for 52 weeks as well that have recovered, and it could continue to carry everything in that upward bullish momentum direction. So keep this one on watch. Next and last one for the long potential list is Iridium Communications. So I would look for a support of 2440 and a resistance of 26. Why? You can see on the daily we don't even have that, right? Why am I interested in that 26? So let's pull it back to the 15-minute chart. You can see we did have this spike up on Thursday evening, or Thursday pre-market, Friday pre-market, excuse me, and it came up to a high of 25.89. So looking for that to be broken before continuing to the upside. This is on the 52-week high as well, so looking for that to continue. And when we pull it back on a 5-year chart, you can see this is a 5-year breakout overall. This is the brand new high for the company. So going to look for that continued momentum if it can break 26. And it does have 96 million in the float and 62.21% short float volume. Going on to our shorts for the week. So DOCU sign, this is the monthly chart. Let's pull it back to a 1-day chart. Came up, tested this prior high back here before the gap down of 59.25 for resistance and 55.15 for support, because I would like to see that it's going to hold these averages right here before going down further. It does have 107 million in the float, and it closed at the low of the day on Friday, even though it was up. Closed at the low. So wanting to see this really hold because it could continue on down further. I'd say the next test after that would be 51.88, that area down there. So nice where we are from here, about $4.60 if it continues to break down further from here. Next on the potential short list, CDNS. Again, this one is looking fairly strong, but pulling back. So it could pull back further. I would look for this support 60.64 to be broken, and then resistance of 61.35 to the upside. When we pull it back on the year chart, you can see this had a very nice run up, and now we have massive volume. We sort of have a gravestone doji right here. It didn't close below the prior day, so looking for that to continue down and break that prior day bottom before continuing further down on this downward move. All right, next on the potential short list, MYOK. I forgot to tell you, CDNS does have 278 million in the float. So MYOK, looking for support of 52.23 to be broken, or 53.15 to the upside. And you can see the 200-day moving average right here is at 52.80. And looking at it on the 15-minute chart, it came up, it slowly broke out above that high from the prior day, but then pulled back fairly strong and pretty much ended at the low of the day. There was some massive volume right at the close, so it might be in a rebound, but I would think that it could potentially continue down further from here. And they do have 37.89% short float from the volume. Next on the short list, MSTR, MicroStrategy. Big run up here from 137 all the way up to the 149 area, 150. So really that's going to be a big mental resistance to test. You know, if it doesn't test it in the next couple days and break out, I think that this will continue to break down further from here. So looking for the support of 148.37 to break down, or 150 to the break upside here. Looking at it on the 1-year chart, you can see this did act as prior resistance before, and we do have a nice doji here. So this with big volume. So this one could easily turn around. The caution here is that this has 8.5 million. So as quickly as it goes from 136 to 149 over, what is this, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 days, it could go from 150 to 180 in another 6 days. So caution with that in shorting it if you do short this one. Last on our potential short list is ADBE, Adobe. So obviously this is prior support and resistance. We'll remove this. I would look for support of 252.69 to be broken to the downside, or 257.65 resistance to be broken on the upside. So this came down, it looks like a prior resistance level that it bounced off of and came up. Fairly nice volume here, fairly strong doji. It might have a bit of a retracement up before we see potential down move, but they did have earnings. It was 16 cents greater than what they were expected, but the market did reject it a bit and pull it down $10. As always, guys, if you like my content, please like and subscribe. I would love to see you in person at the Modern Trader Summit, June 22nd here in Montreal, and seize those profits one trade at a time. Carpe profit.